And welcome back to yet another Try and Fly. Today we are looking also at an XP12 version of the Supercritical Simulation Group SSG B747-8, and it's, as usual with me, if available, the freighter version. The aircraft has been updated now to version 2.6 beta 4 B4, which just happened yesterday. So today I make a video. Yesterday there was an update, and it was good because the aircraft had some issues in the B1 version that was out there for quite some time. The displays were far too dark. So that probably happened when X-Plane made changes to the lighting, because the lighting was too intense, and then they kind of toned everything down, which was good, but that had some impact on some aircraft with regards to the brightness of the displays, and that was one of them being affected. But in the B4 version, 2.6 Bravo 4, it actually was fixed by SSG, which is good. Now we're going to look at how this aircraft fares in a try and fly scenario. Now, 32 frames at the moment. Let's see what happens when we tone down. Okay, night is actually not too bad. I've seen worse. That's good. So we're back at full daylight, and outside the modeling is actually very good here. Don't mind the crooked lines and the jittering and all that. That's just XP12. That's not the aircraft. So let's have a look at some of the modeling. Very, very nice. I actually did my first attempt at creating a livery, because I've learned about this airline here, Challenge Air Cargo, just recently, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a livery? But unfortunately there wasn't any. Challenge has only 747-400 and not 8-8s, but yeah, since we don't have a decent working yet 747-400, and definitely not a cargo version, I just tried it here with this one. Let's have a look at the inside. So this is the cockpit. It has improved over the years with SSG. I think it now looks relatively decent. Unfortunately, again, XP12 here the same. There are some kind of 3D effects, shadow lines, which appear to be sort of bluish, bright bluish, and they unfortunately are the source of some flickering here in the cockpit. That's XP12 in combination with the way it has been designed, but yeah, I hope that eventually we're going to get this resolved as well by Lamina. So let's put on the park brake. Now this aircraft also has a EFB. In the EFB you can, for example, activate the ground power, which we're going to use, and you can set chocks, which you should not forget to remove. You can have 3 states like park, brake, park, cold and dark. I do that now, initialize. And then you do not get any stairs or stuff. That's not included, but if you have some like ground, have I actually got that? Yeah, I have got ground handling. Let's see what happens when I say drive up all. So the profile seems to be there. I hope. Well, actually, no, there's no profile. Because if they stick there and wait and do nothing, then there is no profile. Okay, so I need to find one. So we won't have any stairs coming up. I don't know. What about the default services here? Request ground service. Waiting for 2 vehicles. 600 seconds. Are you serious, guys? 10 minutes? You think? Okay, but I think you can make it short, but we don't want to do that. So let's get out of here. Do I need to stop this? I hope not. Anyway. So that's the aircraft. Yeah, in this. Yeah, there's a strange thing happening in this particular in the SSG, and that is my views do not come immediately. I do get, when I come from outside into the inside, I usually get some strange view first, and then I need to do it again, and then I'm in the view that I have actually selected. That's something that I haven't seen anywhere else. You can open the front. It takes ages, and it needs power. That's the main cargo door, and that's the 2 aft and forward lower deck cargo doors. There's also a tail stand. Well, we're not going to do this. We want to kind of hurry up with... so what's this here? Side CLG, that seems to be lights. Tail stand, open cargo, close all, open all. Well, let's close all. Right, there are some things also still not quite right, because it looks like the APU is actually online. It isn't. Yeah, so again, this is some brightness thing, I suppose. Also, the battery looks like it's on, but it's not. The buttons are too bright, so you can see the on, although it's not on. That needs to be fixed by SSG. Doesn't work well with XP12, it seems. So now you can see what happens when it's actually on. It gets a bit brighter, and yeah, and the APU isn't available. No, it's not available. That's why I'm saying this is not quite right. Right, let's put on the nav light, and okay, let's quickly check that all the accesses are working. Yep, they are. I think we need to align, because it takes quite a bit of time for that to work. Then let's go here. This is the payload. Now we're going to take about yeah, let's add 5 tons of something. We're going to be very light. It's a test flight, and we shall take 10 tons of fuel for our. That should be enough. Load. This is the sound settings. I actually reduced the external sound because it is quite loud. And here are some other settings that you may want to use, and you can switch between kilograms and pounds here. So yeah, you can also have the tablet on the side, but I usually turn things off. We don't really need to hide the yokes, because the yokes are not really in the way they are designed. That's good. Yeah, so I'm sitting probably a little bit high, but yeah, I put the views so that I can really find my way around the cockpit. Now I'm going to turn on all the lights. Also scale up the display brightness if possible. Here it's not click, it's the good old drag stuff. You have to drag it left and right and stuff. I don't really like that, but it's just the way it is. Let's see if there's any other lights. I think I've got most of the lights on. Let's see down here. This is the seat belts. We can put them into auto mode. Now don't forget this is a cargo plane. And now we're going to go into darkness and also check again the frames when we are in the dark, because usually being in darkness eats a lot of frames. But interestingly, it's really weird because when I did a first test yesterday, I actually dropped to 25 and 20 partially. That's interesting. Okay. Well, that's okay. That's fine. So we're still aligning. There's a checklist, but at the moment we are going to quickly set up the flight. FMC. Probably not. Yeah, still on an old Iraq. We haven't replaced it yet. We are in Echo Delta Delta Sierra as usual. The gate is 205. It can't put in the positions. Use this position here to align. And then we go to route. EDDS to EDDM. Flight number T1. Yeah, I mean the modeling is okay, but yeah, you can see here these bright blue things, and together with XP12, it just isn't. It's not a wow thing, you know what I mean. Then departure. Runway 07, APTA 4 Hotel. Execute. And then we can also already prepare ILS 08 left, nothing else. Execute. Let's check the legs. Yes, we have an unexpected discontinuity. We execute that. And looks like we are in business. Okay. Then alternate. Okay. Well, activate, execute, then performance in it. So we have 205 tons. We have 10 tons of fuel. Reserves, let's do 3. Flight level 140. Again, it's my special route here. Cost index 35. I do this with all aircraft. And now the interesting thing is, I don't know what the cruise CG is. Let's see if we can get this from here. It doesn't look like it would. Oh, now hang on. Here is the CG is 13.1. I suppose because it's green, I'm assuming now it's probably okay. So we'll just use it. 13.1. The question, can I do this actually? Oh no, it doesn't take that. Okay. Oh well. Again, we have another airplane which is not fully implemented on all levels. So we take takeoff 1, 92%, 92.7%. Because we're relatively light, we should probably be able to take off here. I'm going to use flaps 10. Here's the 13.1. It has put it in, okay, and that means a trim of 4.5. So for that we need to go to the flight controls. To the flight controls page and reduce the stabilizer trim or elevator trim to 4.5 for takeoff. I've done that. Okay, that gives us 123 SV1, 124 140 for our departure. This one does not put in these values, so you have to do it yourself. 140 plus 10. I'm going to do 1450. Big Bird. 072 is our initial heading. And you can see why I'm doing the same procedure as every time, because this is the only way to really compare and see how aircraft react. Ah! Yeah. 140. Turn on the flight directors. Again, this is the kind of drag, not click type. Auto arm, LNAV, VNAV, they come on green. That's fine. We shall see what the autopilot does. And here are the synopsis: electric, fuel working, ECS working, yep, hydraulics, yep. Doors page, gear, info page, there's nothing there. There's also a checklist that you can use, where you need to use this little knob here to go through. Pre-flight checklist, let's kind of accept it. I think I have to actually do that test here. Yep, and then the checklist is full. It's sort of a half automatic checklist. That's not bad actually. Alright then. So, quickly check outside. Yeah, let's call up the pushback track.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
Now we need to wait about 30 to 40 seconds again. But as long as it doesn't crash, everything is good. I use only standard scenery. Just have to remind everybody, I've done away with all the special stuff. Just standard XP12 scenery after the online update, 56 gigabytes. So I'm testing the add-on only in standard simulator. No fancy things, no additional tools, hardly any plugins, only the ones that I really need. And yeah, it takes a wee moment.
Ground to cockpit.
There we go.
Toes driving up.
As long as it doesn't crash, I don't mind the wait. So we are basically ready to get going here. Let me quickly finish off. I think we are done. Yep, we are done. Going to arrive with about 4.4 tons in Munich. If that's correct, we shall see. Now let's activate the beacon. That's the kind of follow me. So if you have to click again somewhere outside the switch, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens often enough. We need to start the APU now to start up also the engines. We have aligned in the meantime.
All doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Set parking brake.
The parking brake is set. I'm now going to disconnect all the outside things. So the chocks, we do away with the chocks, or we might get problems with the push. I think that happened to me yesterday. I had a bit of a problem with the push. Okay, and again, strange view. I've never defined that one. It's not going where I expect it to go.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Okay, so we are basically ready for the push. Let me see, that was the pre-flight checklist. Now, if we press again, come to the before start passenger signs, the MCP we have set. Takeoff speeds is 124, 125, 126 or something, yeah, and 140 plus 10, 150. CDU preflight is completed. The trim is set to 4.5 units. Taxi and takeoff briefing is completed, and the beacon, I thought I had it turned on. It seems I didn't. Now it's on. That's the before start checklist completed. Which means that we are now ready for startup. Let's check. So the APU is running. We're going to switch. Oh, and it has done that automatically. Now we send away the hopefully last thing that keeps us here. And we need to also activate the APU. Yeah, I hope that we are okay. The packs are turned off, and now we need to also fire up all the fuel pumps, and we put this into aux mode, get some hydraulics, and hopefully I have done everything we need to get the engine started. Right, I'm going to start 2 engines, because theoretically that's possible with this airplane. Yep, they're spooling up. Nah, they don't seem to move though. Did I select auto start? Oh no, you don't need to do that here. Okay, let's see. I think we still have an issue like yesterday, and I'm still not sure what I did wrong. I mean, the packs are off, or maybe I do need to. Do I need to? So what am I missing? Again, like yesterday, I'm missing something, which is probably around this thing here. So the APU providing air, and let's turn on the packs, see if that makes a difference. Yeah, I don't know why. I wouldn't have expected that, but maybe there is a good reason for this. Anyway, the engines are coming. And we also start.
Starting
Forgot.
pushback, and you may start the engines.
Yeah, we're already, as you can see. So here's the next thing. Yeah, I think we need to help it. I had that yesterday too. Because it's not able to interact with the steering. I have to do that myself. Let's start the other 2 engines. I need to actually help it. I don't know, maybe do I need to turn off the steering? Maybe I'm missing something here. I don't know. But it definitely has a bit of trouble here with the steering of the aircraft. Better push back. I've read this about other aircraft as well. Well, kinda did get it right.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
That'll do. Let's quickly check our engines. They're looking good. Alrighty. Then let's set up the rest. Let's put all of these into auto mode. They're on. Ciao. Then we don't need anti-ice, just the window heat stays on. Probably that's probably automatic mode or something. It could be with the Dash 8 because it's a bit more automatic than other aircraft. Right,
Tower
then.
is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. I'll see you next time. Have a safe flight.
Thank you. Okay, so where's the transponder in this thing? The transponder, there it is, 2000. And we're going to switch to TAR. No, not TAR. Standby, I mean. So, yeah. Then 1, 2, 3 for flaps 10. Flaps are moving. Yes. Speed brake is working. And let's put on the taxi lights, nose lights here. And go through the before taxi checklist, I suppose. Let me see. Checklist. That's before taxi checklist. So, no. Yeah, this is one of the aircraft where the cursor gets stuck. I'm not sure why that is. In some aircraft it does, in others it doesn't. Anti-ice, recall checked, auto brake is RTO, flight controls. Flight controls, let's go to the flight controls page. Full down, full up, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Checked. And ground equipment is clear. I hope it is. Indeed it is. Next is the before takeoff checklist, which just checks the flaps. Alrighty, then I hope I'm not missing out as much as I did yesterday. Yep. Let's very quickly have a look here into the back. There is actually a cabin. There's a toilet. And there is even the stairs that allows you to go down into the cargo hold, where you will also see the crates if you happen to have something loaded. Since we didn't do enough to get things, I think that's the reason why this is all empty, but I remember kind of that if you put in load, then it starts filling it up with something. So that's quite nice. Yeah, the park brake, again, custom aircraft with custom controls. Not everything works. Let's move. Let's quickly check the reversers. Yeah, reversers are working. And they go out again. That's fine. We are in takeoff 1 mode. Yeah. Let's see the steering tiller. Yeah, steering tiller works. The displays do not come out, and unfortunately they have changed a lot, so all my cockpit views, positions and all that, they have been invalidated. I need to do this again. Let's go one step further up because I hate all this flickering line. It's a little bit better, but it costs a lot of frames. Yeah, so we're now down to 25. So I might have to decrease the anti-aliasing. Not that it really makes a huge difference. It's just a kind of a more minor improvement on some levels. I hate it. Now the aircraft is expensive on the frames. As you can see outside we are on 40 frames. As soon as I'm in the cockpit, things get slower. I'm on idle thrust. It's enough to keep the aircraft moving, even in a turn. Quickly stop here, apply the parking brake and prepare the aircraft now for takeoff. This time I promise at least turn on the lights and the strobe. My last try and fly, I forgot all about the lights. So flaps are set, speed brake is in. Then we have the MCP set correctly. Also the indications here are correct. And yep, I think we are ready to go. So line up. Give it a bit of a push with the engines, but then leave it on idle. You shouldn't be too fast in this aircraft. It is a big bird and it has a lot of inertia, so don't be too fast. Now we're on 24 frames and I can really see how things are slowing down. Unfortunate, yeah. If you see that the aircraft is slowing down considerably, then you need to apply a little bit of thrust, but not that much. So, yo, there we go. So set the brakes, and now it doesn't have kind of the takeoff, and I still haven't found the command that I should set. Let's quickly check here the checklist. Flaps 10 is set, so we are ready for takeoff. And for that you need to click here. That brings up the takeoff power. And at the beginning you may have to help it a little bit with the steering wheel. As soon as the rudders become more effective, you can steer the aircraft
80 knots
with the rudders. Because we're very light, our rotation speed is quite early.
V2.
Don't forget, large aircraft, do not rotate too fast. Gear up. It takes a bit of getting used to for the inputs, and now I'm going to activate Command A and let the autopilot do the rest. What's this? Fuel. Oh yeah, it's the override tanks. I forgot to turn them on. No problem. Fuel transfer engines. Flaps 5. Okay, it just accelerates. Flaps up. I was a little bit late here on the... So what does it say here? Fuel tank engine. So yeah, I think there may be a slight imbalance. Let's check. .9, 2.2, 2.3. Yeah, but that's not an imbalance. Okay. Not sure what it complains about, but so far the takeoff is going fine. So flaps are up, gear is up. And yep, we are fine. So, 10,000. Pretty sure I'm going to forget to turn them on again. Since we are a freighter, there's not that much of a cabin, and now it's accelerating to what it deems the correct speed at 322 knots indicated. Well, we're not going to do that because that is a little bit too fast, but I let it first get to the speed, and then we're going to use speed intervention and test that as well. Sound is quite okay, I think. Yeah, that irritates me a little bit. That shouldn't show, you know. I always think, up, I still have the APU. No, I haven't. I'm not sure if that's the correct climb speed. Could be. And also the rest that it calculates. Now let's do the speed intervention and bring the speed back to 250. And oh, look at this. Far too early. We are still several miles from Abtal, and it has cut short. That's a no-go. So SSG, please, you have to have a look at this. That's not okay. It's not supposed to do that. Not that far away from Abtal. I mean, we're talking 10 miles, right? So I'm going to use heading mode. And bring it back on course, because if you're flying with Watsim, that's not okay. Let's set already the auto brake. So that's definitely something that you need to watch out for. This is not okay on VATSIM if it does that. Now in 2-3 miles, that's one thing, because this is a large aircraft and it takes a bit longer to turn, but not 10 miles. That's far too much. And if you can see, it really cut short. Okay, I think we're close enough. I'm going to see what happens when I activate LNAV again. First we go to the left, not sure why. Now we go to the right, which is okay. Let's go to the dark again and configure the aircraft for night flight. Yep, I turned off the... Yeah, okay. I guess that can be turned down too, but it's okay. So we're back on course. Let's calculate in the top of descent. We are now 50 miles, so 40 miles from MAGAT it wants to descend, which is probably okay. Top of descent is kind of moving with us. The thing is, the latest about 30 miles from MAGAT. Normally we need to really be on a descent with about 1800 feet per minute, so that works out. So we'll see when it actually will get into the descent. I'm already dialing in the altitude that we need to achieve, and then we shall see. It has already started to descend, so the top of descent indication is a bit dodgy, but we're fine. We're on the descent. According to this, we're still 50 miles from... Is it 50 miles? 49, yeah. A little bit far. Let's turn off the fuel indication again. So recall checked, notes checked, auto brake 1, landing data. Oh yeah. Going to land with full flaps. Whoops. 127. Approach briefing is completed. You can see how Lamina made this, it's getting brighter when I have my head down, and it's getting darker in the cockpit when I look outside. Nice feature, but to be honest, I'm not that convinced of it. But at least now the cockpits are bright enough, because at the beginning this was everything was far too dark. This was unusable. This is okay, and you get used to things changing. Yeah, but I'm not a camera. My eyes are adapting actually much quicker than this. So it's like a camera. A camera would do this. Yeah. Now let's see. Yeah. Like we had yesterday, this is not quite right. We are descending not fast enough, and it would have us. So I'm going to enforce now 1800 feet per minute. We are actually too far away anyway, so let's do this a bit more slowly. So that part of the flight management isn't yet convincing, I would say. What about terrain? Yep, they do have terrain. Still not sure what's going on here with the fuel tank engine. Yeah. Let's go back to the fuel page just to check if there's anything that looks dodgy. But to be honest, I don't see anything that's dodgy. I don't see any orange lights here. I mean, if I turn the center tanks on, we're probably going to get an indication because we have not enough fuel in the tank. And you shouldn't really touch these here, so yeah, I'm not sure. What about the override tanks? If I turn them off, what happens? Nope. 10,000. Don't forget, it is XP12. It's not. They call it release now, but it's not fully finished. And all the products now that have to be converted from XP11 to 12, they still need work because things have changed, partially quite tremendously around engines and fuels and all kinds of things. So it takes time for the add-on makers to adapt to it, and I'm pretty sure most of the products that we have will be fine after some time. Until that time, we need to expect certain little snags, and as long as they're not catastrophic, and as long as you can do your flight, I guess it's okay. And cosmetic features, yeah, I mentioned them, but they're not really a big problem. I think we can reduce even a bit further. Oh, we are below 10,000, so let's go to 240. What is it doing? Oh, the RPU is still running. I did not turn it off, yes. I don't like that one. It's also not very good at keeping the speeds. A bit like the 767 on Flight Factor that I tested before that here. By the way, there's a new version of the Zebra, which I'm going to give a try this week as well. And eventually you will see it on video. Now we have some blinky stuff here. Can't decide what to show. So let's see if the radio navigation 109.50080, yeah, okay, so it has put in the frequency. Let's see if it can tune the ILS and that we can see it in time. Yep, India Mike November Echo 080, 23 miles DME. Okay, so the ILS is visible. Well, we still have 12 miles or so to go. No. Yes, 12 miles. The auto throttle is a bit sort of, something that I find on many aircraft in X-Plane 12, because they probably haven't yet found the best way of doing auto throttle in X-Plane, in the new X-Plane. The thing is also exceeding the speed, so we have 240 and we are at almost 250, and it's incapable of because of this forward backward. It has now switched heading to 80. That means it prepares itself for the alignment. Okay, so I'm arming the approach mode. .30 frames, that's okay. Yeah, but you can see it's 10 knots too fast, and it goes up and down like a little yo-yo. Because when it goes down, it provides too much thrust. It then takes it back, probably also too much. And it doesn't seem to get the equilibrium here. So we keep alternating around 250, which is 10 knots too much. So let's reduce speed to 2 to the up speed. Because we're now on, we're on 5,900 something. Again, we are not exactly where we should be. Yeah, it's slowly compensating, but again, the auto throttle is far too nervous. It's far too much interaction here. It's not okay, but it's not catastrophic, but it's also not really good. Okay, localizer alive and captured. Glide slope alive and captured. Sehr schön. Very good. Now I'm going to provide flaps 1. We are 9 miles, 10 miles from the airport. So we need to really get slower, which is probably going to be a problem. Flaps 5. Might have to help it a bit. Flaps 10. I'm helping a bit with the speed brakes. We have a little flicker here. The missed approach route is doing strange things. So put that in again. Flaps down. Gear down. Flaps 20. And we need to reduce the speed. Turn it to VREF plus 5 or so. Flaps 25. Flaps 30. We got all 3 autopilots armed, did that itself, rollout armed, flare armed, so basically we're ready for an auto land, which in this case I would let it do, just to see how that works out. Check. Yeah, the new autogen. Yeah, properly the woods now at the Isar River here and all that. That was not like this before. We had trees covering everything. So I can see that the online scenery update has improved the autogen a lot. And I'm not sure if they also improved on the textures. Could be, but I couldn't tell you actually. They look okay. I mean, that's the standard textures here. They look really okay.
400. 300. 200.
Yeah, I didn't put in the minimas. It's auto land anyway. Landing.
100.
You let the aircraft land. Let's see how well centered we are. Again, we are. That seems to be a explained feature. Have you touchdown? Now we have. Okay, I'm applying reverse thrust and I'm turning off the autopilot. 80 knots. I'm taking away the and manual braking. When you take away the reverse thrust, it will actually accelerate shortly. And off we go. So we're in Munich now. Just stop here for the moment and start cleaning up. First of all, let's start the APU. Secondly, we'll put in the flaps and the speed brakes. The auto brake is off. Yep, then landing lights off. Taxi light on, strobes off. And oh, is the APU on? Did I do that already? I thought I did not, but maybe I did. See? Yep, APU is already starting. I did that already. Okay. Now let's continue to the gauge. If we would be two pilots, obviously we could do this all rolling towards the gate, but me being alone, I usually just stop and take my time. Yeah, didn't take that curve very well. It will slow down in a turn. We might have to give it a slight notch, the thrust. Okay, notch, notch, notch. So. It looks almost as if the front wheels are not on the tarmac, but that might be an optical illusion. One could think I'm drunk here. I won't mention the flickering anymore. You can see it yourself. In a complex airport, we are now down to 27, 25 frames. I mean, if it stays like this, it's okay, but I would think that in bad weather, like rain and things like that, the frames will drop even further. So, and I have an RTX 3070 Ti that is not a weak graphic card, so it's definitely not my hardware. The CPU is not used like it runs on for the simulator. It runs between 25% and maximum 50%, so it's usually not doing a lot, and the graphic card is also underwhelmed. I mean, with OBS I use a bit more of the graphic card, but the simulator uses about a quarter, and another quarter is used by OBS, so about 50% of the GPU is busy and the rest is idling and waiting for other things to do that won't come. So yeah, what should I say? Just place ourselves here. And stop. Okay, so APU is running. It will automatically switch, I guess, and therefore we can turn off the engine. And we could also ask the ground handling toggle the jetway, because that works now in X-Plane out of the box. So at least here in Munich we can get off the airplane without having to fly with our own wings. I know, I'm in a cargo airplane. I wouldn't normally park here. Okay, so that's the SSG. Yeah, it's a good airplane. It's rather complex. It still has. Will we stop? Thank you. It still has some weaknesses. I think one of the larger weaknesses is the UFMC. That has always been a bit quirky. I don't know. It has improved over the years, but I mean, I compare it with the flight factor ones, which are partially also simplified in certain areas. I'm not sure that it really is working that greatly. You have seen that we skipped a waypoint with 10 miles to go, and I'm not sure about all the calculations it does. So it's okay, it's doing its job, it's working all right, but not exactly on the level that I would like to have. And graphic-wise, the airplane has improved a lot compared to the initial versions way back in the beginning. The cockpit looked awful. That it now is not really looking great is XP12 and the way it renders certain things. I guess the cockpit textures and so on haven't been adapted to that yet, but that's surely something that either Lamina fixes by getting away with or by solving the anti-aliasing problem, or SSG will maybe touch up on some of the weird-looking things here in the cockpit and get them kind of beautified. I'm pretty sure that they will do something. They're still working on the aircraft, so this is not an abandoned add-on. You can see that we got XP12 version pretty quick. I was surprised that we already have it, and therefore I think I'm quite positive, and it is the only 747 in X-Plane that is somewhat decent enough to really do also longer flights. Having said that, with the current state of the flight management, I'm not sure I would want to do a long-haul VATSIM flight with it yet, but I'm pretty sure eventually we will be able to do that. So you can see things are getting better, things are evolving. Why are we on blank screens? Because yeah, it hasn't automatically activated the APU. What the heck is going on? Did we not start the APU? I thought I did. Where's the status display? Well, let's quickly conjure up the GPU and connect it, because it is really available. And we realize that the APU is indeed off. This is strange. See, I can't actually start the APU, so this seems to be another little bug. Yeah, as I just said. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope that was useful. There are some other things to come. So we still have the 757 from Flight Factor that has been made XP12 compatible, still in a beta version. Then the Felis 747-200, which I haven't actually flown once yet. I got it some time ago, but simply didn't find the time to really look at the aircraft and work with it. So I'm going to do that in the next 2 weeks. And also test it, obviously. We have a cargo version. So there's a couple of tests and try-and-flies coming. There's also the CRJs from, forgot what the name is of the company. Not SSG. It's CRJ 900 and CRJ 700, which look promising. Also, they have been made compatible with XP12. Maybe doing the odd does it work test with some of the older add-ons for which there may not be any XP12 fix, like maybe some Carnado aircraft. We shall see. Yeah, and I guess I will be busy verifying aircraft. Oh, the Zibo has got an update, so that's definitely one that I'm going to make quite soon, because I had issues with the Zibo in XP12. They have now updated a couple of days ago, or was it a week ago or so, to version something .2 or so. And I'm hoping that the unreliabilities that had been introduced with the beta for XP12 will be fixed. That would be really great, because at the moment I don't really trust the Zibo in XP12, but maybe with this update those times are over and I can use the Zibo again as I'm used to. Okay, thanks very much, and until next time.